Hello reviewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're gonna talk about The Boring Company. So let's dive right into it. Now, first thing we have to understand, what was the idea behind this? Well, they were basically selling magic, aka Elon Musk selling magic. The idea was there will no longer any traffic, like traffic, poof, that's gonna happen. And how they're gonna achieve that? Basically, they're gonna have two prongs attack. First attack would be you're gonna have your normal car, and that is gonna drive on this basically platform, so to say. And this platform is gonna go down directly from the road, no special terminal, directly from the road to underground tunnel network, and in that tunnel it's gonna go basically nearest to you. And this puppy was gonna be basically A to B, not platform to platform, A to B, meaning if I have to go to this particular office, I don't go into office district, I go to office itself. So that was the whole point, A to B. So this is gonna be for the people who utilizing car, and then for the people who want to don't have money for cars, they're gonna utilize transport pods. Now these pods could have upwards of 16 people in a tunnel. So that was the whole idea. So basically they were selling magic, and the idea, another aspect would be this would be ludicrously fast. So bare minimum speed they are selling was actually 150 mile per hour, but let's just say they are claiming bare minimum 100 kilometer per hour or more. And this would be whole network of systems. So basically this will be like a road network underground. This won't be like a metro line or how other tunnel systems are, where they're like one huge tunnel from point A to point B. Basically you have a metro line throughout it, and that's it. This will be completely different. This will be lines, multiple lines, basically how you have road. Just imagine Google Map road and just plonk it down into the Z direction, and basically you have the underground tunnel system. So idea, magical idea. Now this puppy has been on works for around 4 years, and it has been completely built. The first small scale actual demonstration has been already built, and the reality hits everyone like a very hard bitch slap. It is not capable of anything that was promised. For example, the actual speed is around 30 miles per hour at 48 kilometer per hour. That's way too low. That's like normal city speed. That's way too low, and it's not autonomous. That was the whole point of the earlier presentation, and how getting was like, oh, it's gonna be autonomous. And can it be done? Actually super easy. Like we have cars that now almost reaching to a point where they can autonomously drive. Now compared to that road driving to a tunnel fixed point driving, it's kind of super easy to do autonomous system, but they have not figured it out yet, and the systems is like flat out working manually. So it's not autonomous. Be mindful, there are some bus mass transit system which utilizes autonomous bus. So be mindful, they are outdated in this. And there is no magic elevator which is gonna go twing twing twing. There is no magic elevator like that. And whoever built the concept video, I'm like that's really horrible, simply because nobody into quality assurance of that video was like, hey, wait a minute, do you remember like this world has something known as rain? Like there is rain happening. Like in case of India, we have like around 1 month of rain, we call monsoon season. Or in places like New York and all that jazz, I'm pretty sure we have something known as snowfall. Like you cannot have just an open road, there's a hole in the road. That cannot happen. It has to be completely covered. And what the hell is going to happen to other cars that can fall into that system? So remove that safety hazard. And it's like, and people looked at that idea, is like, this magic is gonna be real. I'm like, you need your brain checked. So reality happened at this point in time. This has already happened, or almost, if I'm not mistaken, already closed down also. So reality is people already spent money on it, and they already realized this under delivers like a lot. Now the primary thing, even if you put a lot of more money into this, the main thing that you cannot solve is safety. Now safety is one thing you have to understand. Fires are one of the primary enemy of tunnels. So if fire happens, you're done for. Now electric cars are really bad for fire. Now you may be like, why? Well, think of it this way. Let's say a petrol car catches on fire, the petrol burns. Now it will create a CO2, which, if you know for a fact, that it will put out fire simply because it can choke the flow. Now unless there is a good clean airflow, it will choke the system. So in a completely worst case scenario, having oil fire, of course it would be high temperature, but like let's say if all the oxygen is spent, there won't be any fire. But that does not apply on battery. Battery can burn underwater. The only way to safely put out battery is to use special chemical foams and things of that nature, and that's also not putting it out, that's smothering it more, because battery can burn underwater also. So be very mindful. Batteries are idiotically basically they are almost like a rocket fuel if they burns. Not very efficient rocket fuel, but That's the whole point of it. So an electric car in a small tunnel, if they catches on fire, yeah, you toast, bro. You are very, very toast. And like fire brigade now learning how to handle battery fire. So be very mindful. So you have to design a system that can handle fire. It cannot handle fire simply because exit tunnels are too far apart. They already built a 2 kilometer system and they did not have it. The idea was like, if you have any issue, just run to another point. To give you a context of that, let's say Washington Metro Tunnel, that's there. It's 17 feet in diameter. Now that's why it's expensive. Now the reason for this is very simple. If the metro like gets stuck for whatever reason, fire, electrical malfunction, accident, whatever have you, you can hop on from that point on, and there is a footwalk there. Hopefully you will never have to use this, but it's built in that way that in case of a train being stuck, jammed or blocked, you can just walk into that system and walk to the closest emergency exit. In this sort of scenario, they have emergency exit every 500 feet to 1000 feet, so like kind of very small distance you have to walk before you get nearest. There was no idea of emergency exit system in this puppy. It was like, yeah, just walk to the next next platform, so to say. So that's flat out unacceptable. Now you may be like, okay, if there are regulations for trains and all other locomotive in Europe and in USA, how the heck Elon Musk could even build this? Well, there is a loophole into the system simply because this is a new system of pod transport. There is no regulation about it right now. So state government rule applies. So state government could be a bit more lenient, and be mindful, this is the first time. So again, tunnel engineers are not something that work in government. They actually work on actually making tunnels. So unless they raise enough red flags and enough people actually get injured or die, no rules will be created. So because of this loophole, they are like, okay, this tunnel has no emergency escape system, that's okay to put into public service. Basically they're exploiting a loophole. And small diameter also creates another problem. These sort of tunnels are used everywhere. They are generally what we call service conduit. Basically you could have power lines going through it, you could have water lines going through it. Generally you could have other things going from one place to another utilizing this sort of, but never a mass amount of people. You have, this is flat out not suited for us. And think of it this way, let's say a car breaks down, something happens, it's electrical equipment, it can have a malfunction. How the heck you gonna get out of the car? It's like you can't open the door properly. And imagine if that's happened when you are in an elderly situation. Train doors are much wider, you can walk out of it. Doing that in a car, it's far more difficult. So fundamentally speaking, the small diameter, and not to mention because of the small, it will fill up with smoke much more quickly. It will take much less volume of fire to basically engulf this puppy in smokes. And that's another aspect of it in terms of flooding. Let's say there is a river and let's say earthquake happens. There is a crack in your basically tunnel wall. It happens. It's a normal thing, known thing. Every engineer designs the tunnel to handle some amount of cracking. You can never design a system where it's like, oh, it's never gonna crack. Oh, it's gonna crack. It's just like, how often does it crack? So in a tunnel that is like, big diameter, it has enough time. Basically crack happens, it's not gonna flood instantly. It's gonna take a lot of time before it floods, and then gives you time to get away and take care of the situation. In a small tunnel, that's not safe. That's why these sort of small service tunnels are not used for mass transit. They can make it, it's cheaper, everybody knows it. There is a reason nobody builds this. And any crash that happens, think of this way, this is very hard. Like you cannot send a basically big ass pickup truck into this. This will be very difficult. So you may have to build custom equipment just to go inside there and fetch things out. That's the whole point. That's why nobody uses small tunnels for mass transit. And that's the whole point. Even the tunnels that are made for what we classify as single lane traffic, basically only one car, is much bigger than this, and that is the primary reason. Fires, accidents, these sort of things are not what we call may happen. These are inevitable. It's gonna when happen. That's the only question. When is gonna happen? So flat out from safety point of view, this is a no-go. This is like loophole in the basically public safety architecture, so to say. Now, why do I classify this as scam? Well, simple reason. No promises have been met. Basically, let's say you are a car salesman and you're like, my car can do this. Let's say you made 4 claims, and if all 4 fails, yeah, that's a scam. It's like, yes, Theranos claimed a blood test. It did a blood test, but it failed to deliver accurate results. So you can say, oh, no, it was not a scam. They did a blood test. I'm like, that's useless. It has to deliver into the promise. The promise was accurate result. That was not delivered. So it was a scam. And then we come to solar roadway, another scam. Yes, it worked. Yes, it was, yeah, but only it failed in deliver in every single criteria. For example, in basically boring company system, the system is unsafe for mass consumption. Flat out, if you have 10,000 people utilizing this, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Then it's more expensive. They already built around 2-3 kilometers of this, and it's like already $50 million How it's any cheaper? It's like literally how the heck it's any cheaper than anything else. And the capacity, and that's the final part. For a mass transit people that's supposed to remove traffic, you need idiotically high capacity. I'm talking about low level metro system that are used in India that have capacity of 100,000 people. Like lot of people can be moved from point A to point B very easily. Compared to this puppy, good luck with that. Like bus system can bitch slap this thing. And then we come to another aspect of the speed. That's also is slower. So you have slower speed, you have lower capacity, you have idiotically high prices, and it's flat out unsafe simply because the only reason you can build this because there is a loophole. So how the heck it's not a scam? That's the whole point. And I really hate what media has become right now. It's like there was a literal reporter, I'm not joking, rocket science has been used to make this tunnel. I'm like, they just bought a tunnel boring machine that was used for making basically small service tunnels. It's a known technology. Those sort of service tunnels, they do serve a very unique function, not for mass transit. There is a very specific reason those are not made for mass transit. Whenever you are making something like a road tunnel or anything that's supposed to carry a lot of people, the tunnel has to be bigger because you are not building it for just in case. You are building it in worst case scenario, this puppy can handle it. And that's the whole job of media, to plonk things. Hey bro, you're flying a bit too much, come down to earth. That did not happen, and that's the scary part to me. It's like this sort of scam gets national attention, and people are not gonna sit down and actually do the research. Why the heck metro tunnels are so big? They're not gonna do that. They expect the basically journalists to do that. When journalists do not do, when like national journalists, national scientific journalist community, they are like promoting scam, that fundamentally breaks fail safe of our civilization. We have safeties built in us. Like literally there were like many people among this basically boring tunnels like, dude, this is bad idea. Like people who are working with actual public transport system, dude, this is a bad idea, do not do this. Yet people kept doing it. Yet people, oh, I want this technology, I want this. I'm like, dude, it does not work. It's just an ugly, useless, unsafe metro with less capacity. Oh, and higher price, because price is directly proportional to how many tickets you sell. So if you sell 100,000 tickets per day, even if the project is expensive, you can make your money back. If the basically people you are transporting is less, that's why it really sad. Now understand this aspect, that's like that will be the final. Even if you accept it, you're like, oh, dude, this is a private money, who cares? No, the money is yours. You have to understand the money is yours, simply because all public transport technology sooner or later has to be built by your money. No private company is going to build a metro system, no private country is going to build a hyperloop system, no private company is going to build this boring system. All of them would be like in final scale. Of course, small scale testing, demo and all that jazz, that can be done on private money, but they will always be done by public money. That's why it calls public transport. Be very mindful, it's your money that's gonna be set on fire. Another aspect is government generally works in terms, basically in case of India generally 4-year term. So that gives them two deadlines, time and money. For example, let's say government of India decides, because like so many dumb people watching Twitter or Facebook, or like blind fanboys, they're like, let's build this, let's build the government. It's like, okay, you want it, we're gonna start the project. And after 3 years of building this project, they're like, this does not work, they're gonna close it. Now here's the deal, they only have 1 year left in their term. Will they start a new project? No. Why not? Simply because if they start it, the other party that's gonna join the reign next year, they will say, hey dude, we made this. So flat out, these two things are very critical. And once the money is burnt, like for example in case of India, Hyperloop was actually physically being built and the money lost is around 500 crores. So let that sink in. It's your money that's going to be burnt and your time that's going to be wasted. And other projects are cut. Like for example, the amount of money they've spent here, I'm talking exactly in Las Vegas, you could literally go there and be like, okay, this road lane I'm going to buy from city politics, not politics, like a city municipality, and I'm gonna make a dedicated bus line. Only buses can drive on this. That would have had higher capacity, pardon me, power cut, higher capacity than this puppy, and would have actually reduced congestion, not just like a theme park ride. So that's the reality of it. Other projects, useful projects, are cut because of this, and there are no penalties for it. This is another aspect that you must understand. It's not gonna be like, oh, there will be some swing and all that. Just nothing is gonna happen. At best case scenario, they might have to have a settle out, and which, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Modern law systems have so much convoluted stuff pulled into it, it's 100% impossible to do. So it's your money that's going to be set on fire. So be mindful whenever you see scam like this, or Hyperloop, or Solar Roadway, or Theranos, you have to act on it. If you fail to do so, it would be your money that would be set on fire, and mine also, because I also pay taxes. So that's the whole reality of it. So this was my presentation on basically the Boring Company. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please hit the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.